Good Sunday morning. I'm Shannon Sims.
I'm Steve Shamraz in for Charles Benson. Welcome to 4-1 Forward.
From today's TMJ4, this is 4-1 Forward.
Cars are being stolen in Milwaukee at a rate we have never seen before, and that is fueling an epidemic that's equally troubling, an increase in the number of juveniles being arrested for those crimes.
Many steal cars for the thrill of it and see if it's a way to establish status among their peers. They call themselves Stollies. It's become a weekly occurrence in the headlines. Young people behind the wheels of stolen cars, leading to high-speed chases, crashes, and sometimes death. Breon Walker found himself behind bars for a year and a half for driving a Stollie, the term kids use for stolen cars. Before his 16th birthday, he admits he had stolen 9 vehicles.
I used to always hang out with older friends, so my older friend actually asked me one day, like, okay, do you want to go steal some cars or something like that? And I was the one that I didn't want to lose my friends.
Fortunately for Walker, he didn't lose his life like the 2 boys in the back seat of this mangled car. An accelerated joyride ending in death. Stealing cars is nothing new, but in the last year, Milwaukee has seen a spike in youth repeat offenders, which is why Mark Mertens with Milwaukee County's Delinquency and Court Services Division is working to identify at-risk teens early and provide them with the resources they need to deter them from engaging in risky behavior.
We can anticipate that if a youth is a passenger in a stolen car, that one day they may actually be stealing a car themselves. So what can we do proactively to try to address the situation before it escalates to that point for those youth?
So our digital team here published an investigation this week into Milwaukee's stolen car epidemic.
Here to tell us what they found, Marcus Riley. He is the digital director here at today's TMJ4. And Tanya Simpson, she's our executive producer for the today's TMJ4 I-Team. Thank you both for joining us.
What do you think was the most startling thing you uncovered during this investigation?
Well, you know, for me it was, I didn't know what a Stollie was. And while we've been working on this over the past few months, that was sort of my little newsroom game, walking up to somebody and saying, do you know what a Stollie is? No, it's not vodka. Do you know what a Stollie is? There's a large part of our community that doesn't know, but then there's a large part of our community that does, and it's ingrained and they know what it is and it's kind of going on. So for us, with this investigation was all about exposing this to a wider group of people, understanding why we see all of these crashes every night on our ear.
When you start to peel back the layers and start looking at the data, what have we seen in terms of stolen cars in the city of Milwaukee, in terms of what's being stolen and who's doing the stealing?
So the number of stolen cars in Milwaukee is actually trending down just slightly when you look at the numbers from 2015 to 2016. However, the number of youth being charged with stealing these vehicles is not only increasing, the ages of these suspects is going down. One of the interesting pieces of data that we found was from the Milwaukee Fire and Police Commission in a report. They looked at ages of suspects in police pursuits involving stolen cars. And according to their data, what they found was in the early 2000s, the average age of a suspect involved in a police chase in a stolen car was around 40. In 2016, that was 18. So it saw a steady decrease.
What did you uncover when you talked with victims?
You know, we talked to 3 victims, and it was interesting because everybody's a different victim in a different way. We had a carjacking victim, we had somebody who had their car stolen, and really what I took out of it was that the fact that these victims still had some sympathy for the people, for the perpetrators.
Why do you think that is?
They understand that we've all been 16, 15 before, we've all done dumb things before, but it just seems like the stakes are that much higher right now.
Some people do compare it to, in the old days, kids stealing a car for a joyride. Right. How does this go beyond a kid just stealing a car for a joyride?
Well, I think this goes beyond because of the impacts and the implications involved specifically with Stollies in and around Milwaukee, because this isn't just a city of Milwaukee issue. This is a Southeast Wisconsin, if not a Wisconsin issue. And kids aren't just joyriding. What we're seeing is an increase in the number of crashes involving stolen cars. We're seeing an increase in the number of injuries and even deaths. So just the toll it's taking on the community, with injuries, with deaths, and on police forces, you know, the resources that they have to commit to, you know, finding these stolen cars writing police reports, following up with victims. It's really impacts everyone who lives in the area.
So what is the why? Beyond it being the joyride, what is the why we're seeing more and more kids, or kids just in general, taking cars and the stakes getting so high, like going on these chases, taking it to a violent level where you're carjacking?
A lot of the people that we talked to said it's symptomatic of what's going on in Milwaukee in general. High poverty rates, you know, things like that. There's a lot of hopelessness out there right now, and kids who really don't know what their future holds, and they're able to do these risky type behaviors. And I think just as teenagers in general, we all have sort of a feeling of invincibility about us when we were young, but lack of jobs, lack of opportunities, a lot of that goes into it as well too, and where that sympathy sort of plays into the. You were
speaking about poverty. Can you talk about what you learned in regards to why some of the kids, or what some of the kids did with the stolen cars that they got?
Yeah, I think for every person that we heard from, every case that we looked into, the why was a little different and the outcome was a little different. We, looked into some cases where kids were stealing cars just to joyride. There were a few cases where kids stole cars and used them to commit other crimes, be it robberies or dealing drugs. There were a few cases we found where, at least in court, when they were before a judge, the kids said they just needed a ride. So every case is a little bit different. We were asked by other people as we talked to them for this story if we felt like, or we found any information that these cars were being, stolen and sold to different auto shops as
like
kind
chop
of
shops.
Yeah, chop shops. In the cases we looked at, that's not really what we found.
And one thing that we also hear is about the peer pressure. Breon, the young man that you talked to in the piece, who was 18, talks about it's something that I saw older people, or I saw my friends doing, so I started doing it as well too. And Mark Mertens, who said that the people who are in the cars with the stolen cars, they're most likely to be the ones who are going to be the perpetrators.
And it's interesting you talk about the peer pressure, because a lot of times of what you see is that the younger kid is the one who is said to be behind the wheel, because the older kid is telling them, if you tell the police that you were the one behind the wheel, you'll get less time.
Right.
And it's this whole, unfortunately, rites of passage into the pipeline of the prison system, where you're seeing these young kids doing that, just, oh, I just wanted a joyride, getting into the system, and then this revolving cycle.
And what they're really trying to do with the juvenile division is saying, we need to get to those kids earlier. We, at this point, can identify and see who is most likely going to be those kids who are going to be stealing the cars a little bit later in life. So let's get some programs, let's work together and try to get to those people a little bit earlier.
To that point, aside from the societal issues that are underlying all of this that are going to take decades to work out, what are some tangible things that we've learned we can do to stop this from happening, to stop these young people from starting to go down this path that's going to ruin their lives if they're committing crimes at such a young age? And, the property crime here that's impacting people as well. How do we stop that?
I think the most important piece that we heard from people who are involved in the juvenile justice system, that we heard from even some of the victims, is just outreach and education. We heard that a lot of these kids who are involved in these crimes and who get involved in criminality at a young age don't have what is called, the technical term, pro-social adults in their lives. So they don't have a person who they trust, who can give them a good example that, this isn't the only way to live. Adults in their lives who can, show them other more productive things that they can be doing, instead of, hanging out in their neighborhoods, stealing cars, committing various crimes.
Well, if you have not seen or read the Stollies high-speed impact, you need to go to TMJ4.com. We thank you guys for doing this investigation. I'm sure there'll be much more coming out of it later on.
Absolutely. So much
Thank you
we
both.
couldn't touch on.
Sure.
Thank you.
Well, up next, a Milwaukee woman who's put herself on the front lines of the efforts to stop the Stollies.
And later, sending a message.
The video that's trying to stop young car thieves in a language they can relate to.
Got them boys on my case back when I was trying to make a dollar. I know it ain't safe, it's still a game we play. We could die today, it's okay, long as it's my fate. I won't ride the brakes, nah.
Time. It's your best weapon against severe weather.
Time to take cover.
Time to protect your family.
Storm Team 4 gives you more time.
It's what we do.
It's why we have technology like Storm Chaser and Storm 4 Max radar.
Higher wind gusts.
Because the more time you have,
the safer you will be.
Make our team part of your severe weather safety plan. There's no better time than now. Storm Team 4.
If you're a small business owner, chances are you're being ignored when it comes to your computer system. At TBG Networks, small business is our focus, and we back it up with our TBG Networks promise. We'll respond within 4 hours, or there's no labor charge.
Having a reliable computer system is crucial for my business. Working with TBG Networks is the best decision I've made.
From simple questions to more technical work, TBG is here to help. Call or visit tbgnetworks.com. We make computers behave.
Nissan is the premier partner of the Heisman Trophy, and we surprised fans with this award-winning lineup.
Marcus Allen.
Are you guys ready to go train with us? Let's go do it!
Then, they experienced Nissan's award-winning lineup.
Man, stop for it.
That's incredible.
It's Nissan's bottom line model year-end event. Lease the Rogue family, starting at just $159 per month, or save up to $10,260 on select models.
Will you take me to the Nissan dealership?
After my daughter was seriously injured in an accident, we knew we had one chance. That's why we called Gruber Law Offices.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Welcome back. Like many in Milwaukee, Bianca Williams grew tired of seeing sidewalks littered with the remains of crashed, stolen cars. Also, young people losing their lives.
That's why, with the help of the Milwaukee Police Department, she decided to launch her Stop the Stollies campaign. Bianca's joining us today on 4-1 Forward. And Bianca, first of all, tell us, was there something personal that kind of propelled you into this campaign beyond just seeing the litter on the streets?
Yes, what sparked this whole conversation was I have family members and friends that's also been a part of the Stollies and also involved in it as far as losing their lives.
So going into the schools, you actually go into the schools and you talk to the kids. How do you relate to them on their level so that they hear what you're saying?
So one of the things is I was started with a song that they all like, which is a Stop the Stollies song and dance, just to get them amped up and rowdy up and get them started. And once they started doing a little dance, and I just say, well, we need to stop this, and I have a serious conversation with them. Okay,
you're talking about a Stop the Stollies song and dance. How young are you trying to reach these kids? When does it start?
As early as the 5th and 6th grade. So about 11, 12 years old, I'm trying to reach them.
They're stealing cars at 11 and 12?
Yes, and know how to actually try to drive or attempt to drive.
What's the most difficult thing about getting this message through to kids, especially when you've got to get them this young?
So the difficulty that I'm having is trying to persuade them that, hey, you cannot do this. You can get serious jail time for this or get hurt or hurt someone else.
Do you also have that conversation with adults, the parents? What responsibility do you believe they hold in all this?
They are very responsible for what's going on because a lot of them 9 times out of 10 don't know where their kids at or don't watch their kids. So when I talk to them, I say, do you know that this is a crime that they are committed? Well, that's them. Let them commit their crime. If they get caught, that's on them. That's a lot of times. That's what I get from the parents.
Almost they just given up.
They giving up. They tired. And even one mother told me, Miss Sherilyn Burrows told me, why would I go chase my son, who 14, stealing cars when I got 6 other kids at home, younger than him? So she's saying he's the bad apple. Let me get rid of him to go take care of my other kids.
How does that impact you as you are, again, trying to help these kids see a different, better way?
So it impacted me because just showing them and letting them know people are really losing their lives, but they don't see that, they don't hear that. So what it is, it makes it harder for me by saying, hey, if you don't stop now, that can be you behind bars or in a grave.
How do you convince a young person these days to respect authority and the law? Those are 2 things we seem to be lacking a lot of on the streets these days.
For one, we got to bring awareness to it. If they're not aware of the rules and regulations and the law to begin with, they will not understand it. Okay. So we can't always assume that they know what's the law and the proper protocol when no one ever told them.
Word gets out, though, that police aren't chasing. You know, that's the funny thing. They may not know what the rules and the law is, but they know what the police won't do. That word does get out.
But they still do it, right? On the way here, I was on 27th and Capitol, and there was a high-speed chase coming here with a car and 3 police well, it was a car and 3 police behind them.
When you have that conversation with them, when you finally get their attention, why do they say they do what they do?
They bored, no money. They just trying to get out, trying to joyride, and they don't feel like they walking is what they want to do.
So how can we help that? Because you say you're bored, that then do we need to bring more programs that actually, you know, entertain these kids when they say that they don't have money? How do we guide these kids, us who we have money, we have influence, right, we care about these children, and we want to see them go a different way? How can we help you and other organizations that are trying to steer these kids in a positive direction?
So we need more youth programs. We need more family structured activities and things for people to do. So hey, you may have an out of control son, but if you bring that mother in and say, hey, how can we help you help your son? The mother may need food assistance, housing assistance, clothing assistance, hygiene items, and different things like that. Because that young boy can be out there stealing cars and make a way. We never know. But it may not be the right way, but that's in his mind. He want to protect and take care of his family.
How long have you been doing this?
Well, my organization been started 3.5 years, but I've been doing Stop the Stollies since January.
And since January, do you see results? Is it getting through?
I don't see too many results, good results. What I do see is the awareness is starting to pick up. But what I'm also seeing is girls are starting to get involved in this crime as well. Mm-hmm. So we structuring all our attention towards the boys, and now it's taking it towards the girls. Say, hey, well, you go in that car, you go steal that car, or you be driving it. So usually the boy will steal it and a girl will get caught driving it.
Wow.
How do you change the fact that there are a lot of guys out there that do this as a way to impress girls? I know from a friend who had his car stolen, the police told him, you know, it was a guy that he knew if he was driving around with a nice car, he'd be able to get all the girls he wanted that night.
We just have to warn the young girls and tell them, if you too get caught in a stolen car, you can and will be charged as well.
I think the awareness is key, and we thank you for trying to get ahead of this issue and, you know, pounding the pavement to talk to these kids about the consequences they face if they steal a car. So good luck. Thank you, Bianca.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Up next, a Milwaukee rap artist using the power of music to reach and hopefully stop potential car thieves.
The message he wants to send in a brand new video next on 4-1 Forward.
With the start of the season just around the corner, it's time to turn up the lights and turn up the heat. Niners, Vikings. Touchdown! The preseason hits prime time tonight on NBC.
I want you guys to start your approach.
Stay parallel, maintain visual. Open the line. Execute.
I'm with the American government. We're here to take you home. Let's go.
Visit the Metropolitan Builders Association Parade of Homes August 12th through Labor Day, September 4th. Tour 22 brand new homes in 3 subdivisions: Highlander Estates in Mequon, Four Winds West in Heartland, and Fox Meadow in Menominee Falls. For directions and tickets, visit mbaparadeofhomes.com.
I can't live without clean drinking water.
And when it comes from a Guthrie and Fry bottleless water cooler,
ultrafiltration makes it super clean.
And will replace thousands of bottles of water.
Call and ask for the Guthrie and Fry bottleless water cooler for your business.
It's the flooring sale you've been waiting for. Empire Today's half-price sale. Get $2,400 of flooring for $1,200, $5,200 for an amazing $2,600. That's half the price of your entire purchase. Shop for carpet, hardwood, tile, vinyl, and laminate right from home and have it professionally installed. Don't miss Empire's half-price sale. Schedule now.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today. Put the money in the bag. Come on. Faster, lady. Faster.
Okay.
Can I help?
We're being robbed by a dentist.
Nothing new there.
Look, I get it, but Aspen Dental is making things easier with low prices every day, so you don't have to break the bank.
That seems easy.
It is. Now nobody move. I've got free toothbrushes for everyone.
We're a different kind of dentist. With 20% off your treatment, we're easier. Call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL.
At Heiser Automotive, we're proud to partner with today's TMJ4 to present the Positively Milwaukee Awards.
When you were creating High Speed, what was the tone, what was the message you wanted to send?
It was to properly convey what's going on in the city and not necessarily criminalize any youth or anybody that's participating.
Actually, while I was making the beat, that was something really specific I had in my mind personally, because I wanted to make the beat in a music sense. I wanted to make it hard enough for the youth to really feel it and get involved with it, and not too boom bappy where it's too boring or dry.
So you mentioned you didn't want to criminalize or demonize. Did you fear at all that in your wording you may glorify? That was
One of the, I won't say worries, but it was definitely something that I paid attention to as we were coming up with the song and constructing the lyrics. That's why the song is different. It's, you know, high speed, careful where you drive at night. The city's wild at night. Most of our kids die at night under the siren lights. I mean, there was a time when the majority of the time that our youth were dying, it was from gun violence, you know, but now it's switched over into Grand Theft Auto.
At the end of the day, what do you hope High Speed will do for your listeners?
I'm hoping it hits the youth primarily. I mean, we know adults are gonna listen to it. We know our following is gonna listen to it. I mean, our demographic isn't the age range that we need to be reaching. So what it becomes is taking a song like this and presenting it to the audience that needs to hear it. So we give them that beat. I like this beat. We give them that hook. High speed, high speed, high speed. But once you get past the familiarity of it and you actually get to sit down with a song, you start to realize what's really being said there. They're smart enough to break down a song and understand it, especially something as simple as this. So eventually, and I think with time, it'll reach the right ears and we'll get the perfect follow through.
Well, thank you for breaking down High Speed. Coming up, we'll actually get to hear High Speed, and hopefully it will reach the ears that both Golden Child and Genesis want to reach. 414 after this.
Good morning to you. I'm Julia Fellow. As we dedicate Sunday's 414 to the Stollies epidemic, another report this morning of a deadly car wreck that began as a carjacking. This just happened overnight near 34th and Logus. Police tell us a 25-year-old woman died in this wreck. It started as a carjacking the night before at another location. Police tried to pull the car over. The suspects took off, though, then crashed into a light pole. Two men, both 24 years old, are in custody this morning. Here's meteorologist Josh Worster with your weather.
Good morning, Julia. Kind of a soggy day in store for today. 73 degrees, the high temperature, breezy and cool. Periods of showers, so we'll have some dry gaps in between, plenty of dry gaps in between, but otherwise just rounds and rounds of showers as we go throughout the day today. They'll even stick with us through the overnight tonight. Mainly cloudy skies, 60 degrees, a few of those showers still around, and in fact, they're still with us for your Monday as well. So as you head to work on Monday, plan on a soggy commute there. A few lingering showers still for your Tuesday, but we'll start to see more sunshine. Cold front brings cold weather by Thursday and Friday.
Hi, I'm Brian from 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and this is my main man, Tom, and my other main man, Tom. Come in.
Wow, that thing weighs more than a car.
Could you point to it, please?
That's it, right. Whoa, it's gone.
Will there be anything else? All you have to do is point.
Could you also take... Wow. This is cool.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
When Alan was hit by a car while riding his motorcycle, the first thing he thought was how glad he was that he had his helmet for protection. The last thing he thought was that he needed protection from an insurance company. If you've been seriously injured, you really do need the help of Gruber Law Offices. Insurance companies are in the business of making money, not protecting your future, no matter what they say. Don't take on the insurance company alone. Call Gruber Law Offices right now. One call, that's all.
Here at the Urban Ecology Center, they're teaching kids about the beauty and science of nature right here in the city.
And you can support this amazing mission by simply going on a hike. Grab your gear and tag along with today's TMJ4 for the 3rd annual Hike Milwaukee, Sunday, September 17th at Riverside Park.
If hiking's not your thing, you can still support this event. Visit urbanecologycenter.org for more information.
Sponsored by the Rotary Club of Milwaukee and today's TMJ4.
Welcome back to 4-1 Forward. You just heard the story behind the video you're about to see.
So now, from rapper Genesis Renji and his producer Golden Child, here is High Speed.
Live my life today, I know I won't see tomorrow now. High speed, high speed, high speed. Got them boys on my case back when I was trying to make $1. High speed, high speed. I know it ain't safe, this little game we play. We could die today, it's okay, long as it's my fate. I won't ride the brakes now. High speed, high speed, high speed. High speed, high speed, high speed.
4 men believed to be the robbers who stole a man's car at gunpoint.
We are arresting stolen car thieves at a record rate. People are being killed.
The passenger of that silver van gets out, slips into the victim's car.
We're really lucky. We all could have died. Cops said, you know, this happens all the time.
The guy was being an idiot by doing 100 miles per hour.
We've got the criminals taking over the streets.
Detectives believe that these suspects may have been trying to carjack this victim.
The van jumps the curb, losing control, and knocks down a utility pole.
He was telling me to give her the keys. They're very out of hand here.
Take them on a taste, what is a break? Pedestrians out of our ways, skating on blades, riding for days, drifting the whip like I did in the game. I'm in that Stollies with a rollie on me, and my rollies asking what the time is. Grab the expedition, it's a sick addition to this caravan, and it's mine again. 80 in the residential I'm into, streamline a 17th and Mitchell. Boy got an issue, make it official. Charger can make that cruiser look little. Live my life today, I know I won't see tomorrow now.
The stolen car epidemic in the city is the new suicide, you know. I think if a kid gets into a car, they die easy. So stealing cars is sort of an in the moment thing. So that's where the lyrics come from. I'm gonna live my life today. I'm not worried about tomorrow. We're gonna go high speed.
High speed, high speed, high speed. Got them boys on my case back when I was trying to make $1. High speed, high speed, high speed. I know it ain't safe, this little game we play. We could die today, it's okay, long as it's my fate. I won't ride the brakes now. High speed, high speed, high speed, high speed.
Much more on our big investigation into Milwaukee's stolen car epidemic. Simply go to tmj4.com/Stollies.
We thank you for joining us this morning. We'll see you back here next Sunday for 4-1 Forward.